Hello all, welcome to the video. This video we are going to see two important programs in arrays using C. So these two programs will make you better understand the concept of arrays and you will feel more confident in solving C arrays. These two programs will take input from the user and then there will be step-by-step explanation, and we'll also discuss the common mistakes that students do here. So without wasting time, quickly getting into the first program. The scenario reads like this. A teacher enters marks of n students and wants total and average. So the teacher wants to find the total and average marks. Let us start with the code. The code reads like this. So I start with my preprocessor directive #include stdio.h. There is a main function, and inside main function all of my variables are declared. Ni are of type integer, sum, average are of type float. There is an array called marks of type integer. The size of the array is 100. There is a printf that reads enter number of students. So scanf %d, %n. So I am reading the number of students as n. Next, printf enter marks. So now I'm asking the user to enter the marks. So how should I do that? I should use a for loop. Inside the for loop, there should be a scanf. For int I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Look inside the for loop, I have a scanf which reads scanf %d, ampersand marks of I. And then immediately after the scanf, I calculate sum as sum plus equal to marks of I, which is nothing but sum is equal to sum plus marks of I. Once the for loop is done with, I calculate the average as sum divided by n, and then I print total marks as sum and average marks as average, return 0 followed by closure of main. Let us see the complete trace of this program. I assume n is equal to 3. So now I'm going to enter marks for I equal to 0. Yes, 0 is less than 3, so I will input marks of 0. Now sum will be calculated as sum is equal to sum plus marks of 0. So what is sum? Sum is initialized to 0 first. If marks of 0 is 10, so sum will be equal to 0 plus 10. I is incremented. I becomes 1. 1 is less than 3. Now I input marks of 1. Right? So now I calculate sum. Sum is equal to sum plus marks of 1. So what is the sum value? 0 plus 10. 10 is the sum value. 10 plus, if marks of 1 is 20, sum is equal to 10 plus 20. Again I is incremented. I is equal to 2. 2 is less than 3. Input marks of 2. Sum becomes sum plus marks of 2. If marks of 2 is 30, sum becomes 30 plus 30. I gets incremented. I value becomes 3. 3 is not less than 3 and the loop ends. So finally what will be the output? The output will be total marks equal to 60, average marks equal to 20. A very important thing that you all have to note here is, why is this sum variable initialized to 0? Not all the other variables were initialized to 0. This is a very important point to think. So the answer is sum is an accumulator variable. So moving back fastly, just check. Sum is an accumulator variable. Sum is equal to sum plus marks of 0. Sum is equal to sum plus marks of 1, etc. So since this is an accumulator variable, if sum is not initialized to 0, it might hold some garbage values, and those garbage values can be added along with your marks of 0, 1, 2, etc. So very important point to note is that always initialize accumulator variables. If it is sum, sum is equal to 0. If it is product, product as 1. If it is maximum, initialize first element to maximum. If it is minimum, initialize first element to minimum. If it is a counter variable, initialize counter variable to 0. Right. Moving on to the second scenario, the second question reads like this. Daily temperature readings are entered by the user. You need to find the highest and lowest temperatures, right? The first part of the code reads like this. So there is a main function. You declare all variables inside main function. you enter number of days. The number of days is nothing but n here. You use a for loop to enter the temperature. So tracing this program, I'm entering number of days, say n is equal to 3. For loop gets executed. So execution of for loop is dealt detailedly in this video as well as in my previous videos. It is appreciated to also see my previous videos. So now the user enters temperature. Temp of 0, 1 and 2 will be entered. So assume that 23, 27 and 21 are entered by the user. Moving on to the core part of the program. So I need to find the highest and lowest temperature. So max represents the highest temperature, min represents the lowest temperature. So the core part of the program logic is this, temp of 0. So what is temp of 0? The first element of the array is initialized as max and min, is assigned to max and min. Run a for loop. Look at the for loop. The for loop is starting with I is equal to 1. I is less than n, I plus plus. The logic is this. If temp of I is greater than max, temp of I is assigned to max. If temp of I is less than min, temp of I is assigned to min. So the loop continues until the loop breaks, and then after the loop ends, I am printing maximum temperature and minimum temperature as max and min, and then I am closing my program. So how should I understand this program logic? So remember, 23 is temp of 0, 27 is temp of 1, 21 is the value at temp of 2. So now temp of 0. What is temp of 0? 23. So max is equal to min is equal to temp of 0, which is 23. Run the for loop. I is equal to 1. 1 is less than 3. Check temp of I greater than max. What is temp of I? I is 1. So temp of 1 is 27. Check 27 is greater than 23. Yes. So temp of I, that is 27. So max will be equal to 27. Check if temp of I is less than min. What is temp of I? Temp of 1. 27. Yes, it's not less than 23. So min is equal to temp of I will not be executed. Now I gets incremented by 1. I becomes 2. 2 is less than 3. Yes, what happens? Check. Temp of I greater than max. What is temp of I? I is 2. Temp of 2 is 21. 21 is not greater than max. What is max value? Max value is 27. 21 is not greater than 27. So max is equal to temp of I will not execute. Again check. Temp of I. Temp of I value is 2. Temp of 2 is 21. Is 21 less than 27? Yes. So minimum gets the value 21. Right? Okay. Right. So the loop ends and you print the maximum and minimum of the value. Right? So again I gets incremented and what happens? I becomes 3. 3 is not less than 3. So the loop ends. So the maximum and minimum element is found. So this is how you have to understand and solve basic programs in arrays in C. So after learning arrays in C, you will have a strong foundation in almost linear as well as non-linear data structures, and this will help you to write even optimal programs. So your coding skills will definitely understand. Wait for my another video which will solve 2 to 3 basic intermediate level programs. If there is any doubts, post it in the chat box. I'll be happy to answer and clarify your doubts. Thank you. Happy learning.